And it was really fun today hanging out with some people in my live stream. And I want to give an extra thank you to those people for the first donations that I've ever got on YouTube. It was so cool to see that. And one of them asked me to look at a few projects. And this is going to be the first video I've done from somebody who asked me to look at a project. And we're going to be looking at PantherSwap. PantherSwap is a newer DEX/farm on the Binance Smart Chain. So let's go ahead and get over to their site and we'll kind of break down something that's going on and the reason why I'm kind of rushing this video. I went ahead and I read through their Git book and I went through all their different tokenomics, their ideas, where they came from, the fact that they do have one audit under their belt. And I felt comfortable doing this and showing it to you because you're going to have a unique opportunity in just 9 hours from now. So I'm going to get this video up as quick as I can to go ahead and get into their farms and avoid the 4% deposit fee that they normally have, because they are a bit of a fork of both Goose and Pancake swap combined, and that's a pretty interesting thing to see. So we'll go ahead and talk through the site now, and then we'll also take a look at the farms, the kind of APRs, how much money they have. So, and I'll let you know, I'm not currently invested in this, but I do plan to just put a couple $100 into the site and try it out. And there is a referral program for this site where you do earn 1% on your referrals earnings. So I will have a link in the post, but only use that if you are interested. You don't need to. Obviously, it's always up to you whether or not you use my referral links. I did go through their audit. They passed everything, with the only thing that they possibly could have a problem with is a DDoS attack. Everyone knows that DDoS attacks will be tough for low projects to work. And they have a second audit that is pending and in review, so that's pretty good. But their contract codes do match kind of the Goose, and they've had a pretty solid contract that nobody's had any problems with, so I like that. So when you look at the project, let's go ahead and look at their market cap, $46 million. That's not bad for a farm. Now, when you look at market cap to TVL, that's pretty solid, $190 million in TVL, and now we're sitting at $46 million in market cap. That is a good amount, and I'm pretty happy with that. They do have an automatic burn function we'll talk about, and as you can see, they say they've burned around $2 million worth of $2.5 million worth of tokens. They also have $12 million in tokens and locked up into their rewards, because they do have a way to go ahead and lock liquidity, because they also combine the features of a kind of a reflect token a little bit, but it doesn't work how traditional moon or fair swap or any of those work. It's a different kind of reflect functionality, and I do like it because it looks pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the different farms so you have an idea of the kind of things that they're offering. And basically, because they're in the middle of moving everything over into a V2 setup and changing it, they're going to be setting up this no fee offer on all of their farms. And I saw this happen once before when Cub had to move a lot of their farms and redo everything. Basically, as something to do for the current community, they are going to allow you to restake your tokens into the new farms that they're deploying without having to pay 4% again, because you already paid 4% to give in. But it does allow new users like yourself, if you're not already using PantherSwap, a chance to get your tokens in starting tomorrow and for the next, probably it looks like, couple days, and get them into these farms without having to pay that 4% fee. So you are immediately earning profit, and that's something that's very rare to see. And I'll be looking into maybe moving over some of my funds into these farms, because they do have some really, like .bnb, ETH BNB, BTC BNB. These are farms that I don't think are tokens that none of us mind holding, and they're offering very high percentages, 700, 900%. Given these percentages could be a little bit high, because there might be some people that pulled their tokens out a little bit early, getting ready for the swap tomorrow. You don't really need to do that, but they might just have done that just because maybe there's a little bit of fear in the marketplace, because anytime a site is coming up to moving their liquidity pools and moving things over, they have to do it right with no problems for everything to be good. As you can see, this site, even though they have $200 million in total lock liquidity, they still have a very, very high APRs for 900s, 400s. These are very, very impressive numbers. So that's why I'm looking to maybe get over here and use this site, because they have the audits, they have some very good percentages, and it just makes sense to possibly come over here, move some of my funds here, and give this site a shot. Because it's from a team that I don't know, and as I went through there, they didn't have a team function. So there's a little bit of anonymous to this, which in the crypto world we live with. I don't know if I'm comfortable giving them a large amount of my funds. So make sure you do your own research, come to your own comfort level with this team and with the people, talk to them in the Telegram before you decide to put any major funds into the site. So let's go ahead. So these are the farms. You've kind of seen them. One thing you might see here, they have what's called a harvest lockup. So basically, they're making it so you can only claim your tokens every X amount of hours. And depending on the pool, it varies. There's some at 6, there's some at 8, and then you can do it every 2 hours on if you're doing their farms. This is kind of to prevent people, they said, from like over farming or putting a lot of money into a farm and then claiming right away and leaving. They also have some anti-whale stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to their site. But let's go ahead and look at what else they have here. They also have pools here, though. So this is single asset staking. This is nice because you don't have to worry about LP loss. And they do have some BUSD sitting here at 410%. So that's pretty darn impressive. You're looking at a lockup of 8 hours, though, and a 4% fee. So you are going to have to leave it there for a little while to go ahead and get your money back. Then they also have a pretty solid cake farm here at 283%, and ETH and BTC at 400% is pretty darn impressive. So if these also get changed around tomorrow, I don't think they mentioned it, but it'd be interesting to move some funds into these ones. They also have a BNB farm sitting here at 400%. So if you're comfortable with this site, it has some really impressive APRs, but I do understand that you do have to get to know them, and audit doesn't mean everything, and so you're going to have to be a little bit careful as you come and check this out. They have another thing here called the jungle. If you look at the jungle, it is going to be kind of where they're going to be offering to stake Panther tokens to earn new tokens. This is kind of the idea of the syrup pool or the egg house that's on Goose. They don't have any projects here yet, but as this site gets bigger, you may look to have some tokens go ahead and try to launch here. So that's what they're doing here. They're also going to be having a place over here where you can stake your tokens to earn some fees. That's just not live yet. So we'll go ahead and also check out the lottery. So they have the lotteries. The next draw is in 17 minutes, or there's ticket sales are for another 17 minutes. And then the draw is in 3 hours and 17 minutes. Currently, the prize, if you were to match all four, would be 4,275 of these, so that means they're selling a decent amount of tickets. It looks like this works just like the PancakeSwap lottery. It reminds me of it very much. They have had some past draws, and you get to see how many of the tokens are being burned and the size of the pool. So somebody won around here, had some people start winning, and maybe a little less people getting into it. I'm not a big lottery user, but it's nice to see another burn function already in place and working on the site. As I mentioned, they have a referral site. I will be giving you my referral link. You earn 1% of your friends' earnings forever. So it's interesting to see that there should be some people probably out there pumping this. It's the first time I've seen it, and it's not brand new, but we're going to look at kind of the token price and see if maybe right now is the right time to get in it. Here's where you can click and you can see their audits. You can get the tech report, and you can see that they're going through CertTech. I don't like one little thing, guys. Don't have your audit tab auto close me out and move me over there, because that kind of messes you up. I like that they had the little drop down so you can go look at their price charts. That's always nice to see that they're not trying to hide their price at all. They do talk about the fact that they've already been listed on DApp Radar, CoinGecko, Live Coin Watch, VFAT. I'd like to see Blockfolio added into here. Team, if you see this, that's something that would be nice to see. And they also have some analytics to go over the tokens, the pairs, and the different accounts. This is really nice to see because you want to see how many people and how many accounts are in there. So, well, I didn't have this loaded up. Sorry, didn't set that up ahead of time. But let's go ahead and get over here to the book and take a look at some of the things that are kind of important. So first, we're going to talk about the fact that, like I said, starting May 9th at 7:30 UTC for Mother's Day, they're going to be going ahead and issuing new Panther LP farms. These will have no deposit for all farms on the Panther LP farms. So you'll get a tax-free for Panther transfers as well after this time. So it's going to be a time where you can move your tokens around. You won't have to face the normal burns. You won't have to face the normal fees. This is all starting in a few hours. So if you're interested to get into this project, you can get into it with a lot less fees if you get into it soon. They do have some fact and questions here. I will have a link to this book so you can come and review it. But we're going to go ahead and do a quick look at the Panther token. So currently they've lowered their emission rate from 100 a block to 75 a block. That is still a lot. So a lot of tokens are coming onto the market still. In comparison, Goose is down to like under 1. Cake is down to under 1. and I think Cub Finance only gives out 1 per block, and they're giving out 75. That means there's going to be a lot of inflation of this token, so there has to be a lot of use case for people staking it for long periods of time. Otherwise, the price of the Panther token is going to start to go down. But they do have a lot of things already built into it, and they have a lot on their roadmap. So let's go ahead and take a look at the roadmap. So they got the launch, they got their audits, they've already got their listings on some of the big places, they've got their lottery, so check. Jungle farming is the part that I told you about that has been postponed. This is basically that in that 4% fee, they have an idea that they're going to direct 1% of it to the team and 3% of it to people who stake into their jungle farm. This would mean as the TVL built up, you might get some very big payments, but they've decided to delay that. We'll have to find out when that ends up going on. They're also doing some Twitter contests soon, and they're going to be looking to get the partnerships. Partnerships would be for the tokens that are going to launch within their jungle for the initial kind of token offerings over here. We'll have to see if they can pull any of those up. They are in AM. They want to be in AAM, so this will be something that they'll be getting up and working. It looks like they're hoping to have their own decks there and disable all the cake farms, and these are all going to be hopefully happening in the next few days. So this will make them more of a project that stands on their own. It should be something interesting to see if they can get working. So it's a pretty good thing. They're also going to have an airdrop platform, so holders of Panther can claim new tokens that get released on their platform. So it's kind of like an initial an IFO, but it's not only an IFO where you have to kind of like do it like on PancakeSwap, where you have to put all your money into that thing. It gets oversubscribed, you get less than you thought you were going to get, and then you get a refund. Well, here you don't necessarily have to put all your money into the IFO if you're just holding the Panther token, and hopefully it'll include, if you're staking into the liquidity pools for Panther, you're going to get tokens dropped to you. So that's pretty cool. They also talk about the fact that they are going to eventually have a DAO, and you need to hold 10,000 coins to be able to do a new offer for this. That is a nice feature to see them add here, because let's say you wanted to add a token or get your token into their site. Well, then if you were a project, you could pick up 10,000 coins, try to put a thing saying, hey, we want to add a farm using this pair, and then if you have enough sway in the community, you can get that passed, and then you can get your token added to the site. Having that kind of thing makes me think this token will have some people that just want to hold a stack of them, which is pretty cool. And let's see, is there anything else? Okay, so they have the no migrator code that Goose really kind of made famous, and the time locks that Goose made famous. They do have a feature they call emergency withdrawal, but this isn't for them, this is for us. It's basically, they have a section here that tells you what you need to do to go ahead and get the pool IDs that you need to know to pull your money out of any of these pools. So as long as they keep this updated, it's nice to see that if they're getting DDoS and you can't access the site, you can still go to BSC scan and you can access the contract, and they're going to tell you what ID that you need to go ahead and pull your money out. So that's really something glad to see that they are ready to protect us and let us get their money even if something bad happens to them. The community driven part is the part where they talk about the Panther DAO that'll be coming out, so that's also pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see who decides to just hold 10,000 of these tokens to go ahead and, you know, get a good feel for it. So now we're going to go ahead and get over here. Okay, I was going to show you me staking, but I don't want to make this video that long, and most of you know how to stake. So let's just go ahead and look at the token price. So the token's been kind of bouncing up and down right now, but around 250. It's been as low as 250, as high as 280. And it has an all-time high of 531. So we're at about a 50% pullback from the all-time high. You can kind of look at this as almost a little cup and handle, but like with this little extra thing in it. Now those usually mean that we're gonna head back up and maybe test this $4 to $5 range if you look at the chart and the way that it did. Because see, you have a higher high here, that's a lower high, but then it had a higher low, and now it got a new high. So if it can stay here and hold around here, we might see it bounce up. Now, TA doesn't always apply to coins that you can farm at a very high rate, but with everything going on right now, you might have some people buying coins to get into farms without the fees starting in a few hours, and you might also have some people that just want to see where the dust settles before they start dumping this coin again. Also, with the DAO in place, there's at least one other thing out there to make people try to hold this token, and that's why I decided to go ahead and do this video, and why I am going to be making at least a small small investment at first, and then maybe tomorrow moving over some of my funds from other farms into the new farms that launch here, because if I can do it for free and earn a high APR for a little while, I am only risking a rug pull. And because they're audited and they do have the no migrator code stuff built into their contract, and they do have the time locks built into their contract, I am a little bit more comfortable with the fact that we're probably not going to see them rug pull. You can see here they do have something kind of interesting on the 7-day. I see the token the first time it was on here at about 260, so we're getting it about the same price that people got it when they first got in. So that's an interesting place to be as possible for a good entry if you were going to buy this token. You have to be very, very careful when you buy tokens that can be farmed, and understand you need to get them into farm and get them multiplying and then selling them and recouping your initial investment, because otherwise if the token tanks, you're going to be out that money. So just know that, be careful about, if you decide to get into this site and you want to play, I can tell you exactly how I'm going to play it, and that's how I'll end the video for anybody that sticks around to the end. This one is a little bit longer, and I have to get back to the actual site so I can show you what I'm going to do. Go ahead and close that one. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 2,000% APR farm. I'm going to put, I'm not going to tell you exactly how much money, but I'm going to go ahead and buy some Panther with a little bit of BUSD I have sitting around, and I'm going to pair it up here. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to let it go ahead and farm it until until I see the price start to get some crazy movement. And then if it drops down, I'll be looking to pull out my initial liquidity, hopefully not have lost too much money in it, and then use the Panther that I got to go ahead and farm on the rest of the pool. Now, I'm going to be willing to take a little bit of a loss on that initial investment, because I'm going to be farming the token at a 2,000% rate, so I should be able to counteract a small loss. But obviously, we're sitting at about 250. I'd be looking to get out of the token if it gets down to about 2.25, 215. Be like, okay, we're heading down. We're going to keep heading down, so let me go ahead and pull that out. Go ahead and try to get back my BUSD that I had, and if I still have some Panther left, I can go ahead and throw it into the Panther farm, which is still going off at 600%. So that's pretty interesting. That one is really, really impressive as well, and just go ahead and throw some tokens in there. All right, so that's kind of my idea, is to play around with the free farms for a couple days, try to get a little bit of a stack of coins, and then go ahead and see where this site goes in the next few days. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is Steve saying goodbye.